ahead and get started. I'm sure some people will jump on as we kind of keep on moving, but in the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and get started, keep everybody on schedule. Thank you to everyone who is joined and on. This is the DIGI Parent Information Meeting, so we're going to go over some information so that we can set you up for success for the summer. If you have questions, Katie will be answering them in the chat. I'll also have a section for questions at the end. So we have a lot of information to cover, so I may get to your question throughout the PowerPoint. So if you'd like to hold all your kind of questions till the end, but feel free to drop those questions in the chat and Katie will be answering those. Again, thank you for everyone who is joining us. My name is Tara Newland. I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator. I'm the full-time supervisor of City of Raleigh offsite camps. A couple of those camps are the DIGI locations that we'll be going over tonight. So one of those locations is Worthdale Community Center, and the other one is the Ravenscroft school location. We're going to go ahead and kind of dive into that information. Again, if you have questions, if you want to hold them till the end, or if you have questions, you can drop them in the chat and Katie will answer those for you. Right. All right, so what does camp look like? Our camp operating hours are 7:30 to 6 p.m. Please don't drop off before 7:30 p.m. So we have our staff making sure that camp's getting ready, and we do open at 7:30. So we don't want anybody there before, otherwise they will not be supervised, and your camper's safety is our priority. So just making sure that we are dropping off at 7:30 or after. On Monday mornings, you probably want to allow some extra time for sign in. If you are rushing to work or have a meeting, maybe kind of add a little bit of time in there. Monday mornings can be a little chaotic, but we do our best to kind of get everybody through. So your patience is appreciated with that. You can come prepared with any medication forms. So we'll talk about that a little bit. There'll be weekly parent emails that are sent out. And if your camper needs any medication, those forms will come in that email. So if you have your forms filled out, it'll help you expedite that process of when you are dropping your camper off. So that's kind of a bonus for you. If you have your forms ready to go and you drop those off, our camp directors will help you kind of get through that process. Let's see here. All right, so this is a Ravenscroft map. So this is a picture of the school, whereas sign in is in parking lot H for DIGI. So you can kind of see it right here on this parking lot. So you'll be pulling in, and that's where sign in is for that one. And then for the Worthdale location, this red circle right here, sign in is right here, and there's parking in this yellow square right here. So you'll come down Cooper Road, and that's where the parking is available here, and our sign in for Worthdale Community Center here. So what do we need for your camper to have a successful summer? What does that look like? So campers are expected to maintain a positive attitude, appropriate language and behavior while they're interacting with our participants, doing games and activities with our counselors. Campers are expected to stay with their group and their counselors and follow instructions. So that kind of looks like we can't have a camper running off or running from the site. They need to stay with their group and with their counselors, listening to any instructions that they may give. Campers are expected to be willing to try all activities with a positive attitude. So we pride ourselves on making sure that there's a lot of activities that we do for our camper. We try and have a variety of activities, arts and crafts, all those types of activities. So we hope that campers will try them and have a good positive attitude while they do. So that's kind of what we need from your campers to have a successful summer, and hopefully they'll kind of enjoy camp if they can follow those things. So let's talk about camp security tags. So security, making sure that your participant is safe. So we give out camp key tags. If you've been with us before, you may have seen these. They're always different colors every year. So this year they are like a light green. Security tags are issued to parents and guardians that are on the pickup list with a valid ID in person. So when you come to camp and you pick up your participant, our camp directors will check your name on the pickup form. And when they issue you a key tag, they will take your ID, they will match it to the pickup form, and then they will write your name on that key tag. So key tag is for you and you only. And if you have a different person on your pickup list, that person will come to your camp supervisor in person, show your ID. So we can never just give out multiple key tags for different persons. If you're like, hey, I need grandma to pick up, she does have to be added to the pickup list and then show in person with her ID. And that is for your camper safety. Our camp directors will always check these key tags. This is how we ensure that they are picking up who they're supposed to pick up. So if any changes need to be added, or if you need to add someone to the pickup list, we can absolutely do that. You'll let your camp supervisor know. You'll say, hey, I need to add Uncle John. We'll put Uncle John on the list, first and last name. When Uncle John comes, he'll show an ID, and that way we make sure that our participants, campers, are going home with the correct people. Please inform anyone picking up the participant that they will have to show that key tag. So even if we've seen you every day, it's week 4, we always need to see that key tag. So please be patient with us and make sure that you do bring that key tag when you come to pick up. It is for your camper's safety. So we try and make sure that every person that is picking up, if you don't have that, our camp supervisors will more than likely ask you for your ID just to double check. So we cannot release any camper without the proper ID. All right, so late fee policy for camp hours, as I mentioned in the beginning, our camp hours run 7:30 to 6 p.m. So you must pick up your camper no later than 6 or a late fee will be charged. So it is between 5 and 10 minutes late is a $10 fee that is charged per family, not per camper. And then an additional $1 fee will be added every minute after 10 minutes. So just kind of keep an eye on that. So camp does end at 6, so please make sure that you're picking up no later than 6. All right, so what to bring to camp to make sure that your camper is going to have a successful day. So we need to make sure that we pack a good, healthy lunch. We don't have a refrigeration or any way to warm up food, so make sure that their lunch is ready to go and they can just eat it when it is lunchtime. We do 2 snacks, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, so make sure that you bring snacks for both of those times. And then also bring a refillable water bottle because we are playing games, we are playing activities. It is hot, so we want to make sure that they can have a water bottle to refill. Please label that water bottle. So we see a lot of water bottles at summer camp and sometimes they get left. So it's very easy to kind of look at the water bottle, and if it's got John's name on it, then we know it belongs to that person. So first and last name on those items would be awesome. Comfortable clothing for play and athletic shoes. So we want closed-toed shoes. So we are playing lots of activity games. We're going inside. We're playing in the gym. So we want to make sure that your campers are safe. So we want to make sure that they're wearing tennis shoes or any kind of closed-toed shoes. So no Crocs, flip-flops, anything that kind of has open toes. Sunscreen and a hat and insect repellent. So that way when we are outside playing those games, they can stay safe. Again, please label all personal items. That way, if they do get lost, we do know who to give them back to. You would not believe the amount of things that get lost sometimes at summer camp or get misplaced. So if they're all labeled, we know who to bring them back to. All right, camper dress, we kind of just touched on it a little bit as far as shoes, but campers should wear active and cool, comfortable clothing with athletic shoes. So it is hot outside and we do go outside and play a few games and activities. So no like rubber shoes, Crocs are not recommended. So we want to make sure that they are safe in all the activities that we do. Campers should not wear sandals or flip-flops, shirts with spaghetti straps, clothing that display drugs, alcohol, tobacco, or gang references, excessively loose or tight pants or shirts, and absolutely nothing revealing. So we want to make sure that your camper is dressed for success, to have fun, have a good time, and that we can do all the activities with what they have on. All right. Items not allowed at camp. So we try and provide everything except the lunch and the food that your camper will need. So they don't need to bring jewelry, video games, movies, toys, any kind of personal items, stuffed animals, pets, cameras, weapons, gum, water guns, music devices, cell phones, tablets, all of those items, they're not allowed at camp. So please don't send them with your camper. Our city of Raleigh is not responsible for any lost, broken, or stolen items. So it's just better if those items stay at home. That way we keep it safe. They can play with those items when they're at home, but while they're at camp, we provide activities so they don't need them. All right, food. Participants are not allowed to share lunches or snacks. This includes siblings, so please make sure that you are packing separate lunches, even if you are sending both of your campers to camp. So each one of them needs a lunch and each one of them needs a snack. Please notify camp staff with any participant food allergies or dietary restrictions. That way we can be aware of it and make sure that we keep your campers safe. Ensure participants have enough food. So we are a camp and we do a lot of games and activities, and camp just makes kids hungry. I personally was in a camper as a child and I was always super hungry, so please make sure you're packing lots of food. At school, they're usually sitting at a desk for a little bit longer of a time, so they might not get as hungry. Here at camp, they tend to get pretty hungry, so having a good lunch and having a good couple of snacks is awesome. Like I mentioned, ensure participants have enough food, lunch, and 2 snacks. Campers are not permitted to use the vending machines. So if there are vending machines on site, our campers are not allowed to use them. If you are bringing in food, notify the camp director at least 24 hours in advance. Food that you bring in to share must be store-bought, so nothing homemade. Unfortunately, that is City of Raleigh policy. Right. So we're going to talk about staff identification and how to kind of tell staff and what they look like. So all of our staff members wear staff shirts and or a staff badge, usually both. So they'll have this blue, kind of blueberry shirt on with a staff badge. And you should not leave your child with anyone who does not have that proper identification on. So when you come to camp, you should be seeing staff members in the blue staff shirt with the staff badge. Our camp directors wear a dark green kind of forest shirt. So counselors wear blue and directors will have a green shirt on. So please make sure when you are pulling up to a site or a location, you are looking for these shirts that say Raleigh on them and those staff badges. And that is for your safety, your camper safety. We want to make sure that everybody gets where they're supposed to be. All right, so let's talk about weekly schedules a little bit. So this is a sample of a DIGI schedule. Weekly schedules are emailed to parents and guardians each week. So you'll get that usually the Thursday or the Friday before the camp, the week of the camp that you're going to be participating in. Printed copies will also be available at sign in, sign out. So if you'd like to take a copy home, we will also email those weekly schedules to you. So you can be on the lookout for that if you're interested in what's going on or what's happening this week. We do email those schedules to you. This is a Remind app. The information will be sent on the weekly parent email. So it'll have a link where you can go and sign up for Remind to get the notifications for that week, to see pictures, kind of get all that information. The weekly email will come out and you'll be able to follow that link and sign up. We ask that everyone signs up for the weeks that you're signed up for camp for. And then when you're not in camp, it will send instructions on how to remove yourself from Remind. All right, so let's talk about what does DIGI look like? What is my camper doing? So a typical DIGI day, arrival time is 7:30 a.m. to 9. So again, we're not dropping off campers before 7:30. So choice play is from 7:30 to 9. And this is where they're doing kind of lower activities, board games, or we're doing puzzles, we're doing coloring sheets. So it's kind of just a chill time. We're getting ready while everyone's coming into camp. So an AM session for DIGI starts at 9 and runs till 12. So if your participant is in an AM session, they will be in session for those 3 hours. If your participant is in a PM DIGI session, they will be in session from 1 to 4. When they are not in DIGI session, they're doing games, activities. We're playing outside playing games outside. We're doing games in the gym, maybe arts and crafts activities. So just understand that it is not a full day of session. They are in session for either the 3 hours in the morning or the 3 hours in the afternoon. Pickup in the afternoon is choice play. So that is 4:30 p.m. to 6. So that is similar to choice play in the morning where we're done with session, we're done with activities, and we are playing board games. We're hanging out with our friends and counselors, doing coloring sheets, just kind of lower active games. And that's happening from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Medications. So if your camper has medications, all medications must be in an original prescription bottle and appropriately labeled. Those forms will come out in the weekly email as well, so you'll have a chance to fill those out before. Over-the-counter medications, same, must be in original packing. EpiPen and inhalers are highly recommended if needed. They will still fill out the same. You'll still fill out the same information, that sheet, and it will stay with your group if they need it. Medication form, parents must fill out for each medication. So if your participant has multiple different medications, you will have to do a form for each of those medications. We only take 1 week's worth of medication at a time. So if your camper has a medication that's needed, will only take 5 days for that 1 week. So we don't keep anything over the weekend, even if they are registered for that next week. We will only take 1 week at a time. If you're able to, we do ask that you administer that medication at home. If you're unable to, we will do that administration. We just ask if you're able to do it at home, that you do it at home. All right, sunscreen, insect repellent. If you're able to, you can apply that sunscreen before arriving to camp each day. Again, we talked about it a little bit, labeling your camper's items so that if they do get lost, we do know know who to return them to. So label that bottle with your camper's name. Our camp staff will assist in applying sunscreen only to areas that campers can't reach. Aerosol spray can, we do request that you bring that. That way our camper counselors can just spray that on there. Sunscreen, insect repellent is not allowed to be shared with other campers. So we may make sure that every participant is using their own items and there is no sharing allowed. All right, sickness and illness. Thankfully, we are, fingers crossed, through the COVID phase. So we are all doing well and staying healthy. But we ask that campers remain home if they have any of these following. So if they're sick or they have a fever, any of these things you're experiencing with your camper, we do ask that they stay at home. That way we don't spread anything. If we do call you and your camper is experiencing any of these things, we will call and you do have 1 hour to come pick up. We do ask then that they stay 24 hours fever-free before returning back to camp. And that way we just make sure all of our participants stay safe. This is a QR code for our inclusion services. So if you need to request inclusion services through our department, you can scan this QR code. They will work with you on creating an inclusion plan to help with your participant through the summer. So if you feel that you need this for your camper, you can scan that QR code. And if at any point your child's struggling, you can please reach out. We can have further conversations about strategies and any of those items to help your participant have the most successful summer that they can. If your child requires an emergency medication for conditions such as diabetes or seizures, please reach out to our inclusion services at that email at least 2 weeks prior to the week they are attending. Additional forms requiring doctor signatures may take additional time. Again, if you need to request this inclusion services, that's what that QR code is for. So now we're going to meet a couple of the camp directors. So we, again, have the Ravenscroft location and the Worthdale DIGI location. So I'm going to ask Casey if she's on, if she'll go ahead and unmute her mic and turn her video on, and she'll introduce herself a little bit. And we'll just kind of meet everybody.
Hi, everyone. My name is Casey. I'm currently an elementary school teacher in Smithfield, and this will be my first year with the City of Raleigh as one of the camp directors at Ravenscroft DIGI Camp.
Awesome. Thank you, Casey. Jasmine, are you on? Can you go ahead and unmute yourself? Okay, we'll go ahead and jump over to Jordan. Jordan, can you go ahead and unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Jordan, you're muted.
Hello?
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Jordan Key. I am a full-time college student. I am home for the summer. I'm starting my sophomore year at UNC Charlotte. This is going to be my first year as a camp director for Worthdale, but not my first year with City of Raleigh.
Awesome. Thanks, Jordan. All right. Jasmine, are you able to jump on?
Hi guys, I'm sorry, my mic wasn't unmuted. It wasn't letting me unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi, I am Jasmine. This is my third summer with Ravenscroft DIGI. I am 21 and I currently do go to UNCG, and I am very excited to be with you guys again. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jasmine. All right. So Jasmine and Casey are the co-directors at Ravenscroft Digi. So you'll be seeing their faces if you are signed up to be at Ravenscroft Digi. And then Jordan Key is our director over at the Worthdale location. So if you're going to Worthdale, you'll probably see his smiling face and see everybody. So please say hi. And they are looking forward to having you guys this summer. All right. Let's see here. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into our questions portion. So I know it touched on a lot of things. I'm sure Katie's been answering questions in the chat. So I'm going to jump out of here, and if anybody has any verbal questions that they'd like to ask, the hand button on your screen, if you'll just raise that hand button, and then I will try to get to everybody that I can. Does anybody have any questions? Anything I can follow up on or touch base on?
All the questions in the chat have been answered, and currently there's nobody's hand that is raised.
Okay.
Actually, somebody just asked, did I understand correctly that we get one key tag for the entire summer rather than one each summer? So the answer to that question is we rotate colors every year. This year is green. Anything that you have from previous summers, you can cut off. We're going to do a new one. And then if you go to alternate any City of Raleigh camp and you've been issued a green key tag, it is good for ours as well. So you do not need different ones for each session. It is good for the whole summer. And then the next question from Margaret, Tara, do we need a medication form for sunscreen?
No, a sunscreen and bug spray, you do not need a medication form for. Just make sure you label it and we're good to go. Anybody else have any other questions? Oh, I can't see. Is that Janelle?
The hand is from Janelle if you want to unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, go ahead, Janelle.
Thank you. Just a really quick one, and sorry if you already said I came on late.
No, you're good.
Where is the entrance this year? Is it off of Falls, or is it off of, for Ravenscroft, or is it off, sorry, I've forgotten what that side road is.
Yeah, so let me see if I can pop back over into my screen and I'll kind of bring it up real quick.
So if you've been with Ravenscroft in the past, it sounds like you have. Sometimes she's going to go back to the screen. Sometimes Ravenscroft, the facility, locks certain gates and certain times.
Right.
We're currently pending the schedule for that, and we'll make sure we put that in the weekly email. However, the gate that is never locked is going to be that Falls and Noose Road. So I know Newton Road can be really handy dandy for some people, and that huge drive on the backside. So we tell people always plan the Falls of Noose will always be open, and we'll let you know and communicate what the final decision is from Ravenscroft about the back ones.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Nicole, did you have a question? Go ahead. No? Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. So if we want to share any like quirks or any bits of information about our kiddos, maybe that doesn't need to go all the way for like an inclusion services accommodation or something like that, what's the best way to share that information prior to camp? Just so the counselors have like a little bit of insight into just some little things with our kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way that I feel is the best way to kind of communicate that information is to talk to your camp supervisor. So first day of camp, they're going to be there. They want to know about your participant. We want to know about your camper. We want to know how to make this the most successful summer. So if you just have a conversation with them, kind of give them that information, they'll absolutely take that and just kind of talk through your best steps or any recommendations or for whatever that information may be. Just having that open dialogue with your camp supervisors is the best way to kind of get that information out there.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, if it's something that you feel like it needs to be written down, we know mornings can be really crazy. If you want to email it directly to Tara, Tara can get it to the specific directors so they can read, digest, be prepared for any questions. But emailing directly to Tara is the quickest way to get them.
Okay.
Pre-camp.
Anybody else have any other questions? I don't want to miss anybody.